Have you ever been in a meeting that just feels like total chaos? Ideas are flying all over the place, people are talking over each other, and you walk out an hour later with nothing decided. What if you could change all that? What if you could turn that mess into a super clear, structured process? Well, let's dive into a framework that does exactly that. The guy who came up with this whole thing, Dr. Edward de Bono, he totally nailed the problem. He said the biggest reason our thinking gets stuck is just plain old confusion. We're trying to do way too much at the same time. It's like trying to play the drums, the piano, and the violin all at once, by yourself. It's just not going to work. And this image right here, it perfectly captures what's going on. In a normal discussion, you've got one person who's all about the data, another person who's worried about all the things that could go wrong, and a third person who's dreaming up these huge creative ideas. They're not even really arguing about the same thing. They're clashing because their brains are in completely different modes. Of course we get stuck. So, yeah, this is the fundamental problem we're trying to fix. This messy, all-at-once approach to thinking just leads us to spin our wheels and go nowhere fast. But what if there was a way to get everyone on the same page, looking in the same direction at the same time? Well, there is. And this simple shift is where we go from chaos to radical clarity. It's called parallel thinking. The idea behind it is actually pretty simple, but it is a total game changer. Instead of the usual debate club style where we attack each other's points to see who wins, parallel thinking asks the entire group to metaphorically stand on the same side of the table and look at the problem together, from one angle at a time. So how do we actually pull this off? How do you get a whole group to think in the same mode? Well, that's where this brilliant and honestly kind of fun tool comes in. Let's introduce the 6 metaphorical hats. And here they are. Each one of these colored hats represents a very specific type of thinking. The real genius here is that it completely depersonalizes the conversation. You're not attacking Bob's pessimistic idea. The group is just deciding to put on the black hat to look at risks. It separates a person's ego from their contribution, and that changes everything. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to break down what each of these hats represents, what questions to ask, and how it unlocks a new level of focus for the whole team. First up, let's talk about the white hat. This is all about pure, neutral information. I want you to think of a scientist's white lab coat. When this hat is on, all opinions, feelings, and interpretations are off the table. We only focus on the cold, hard facts. The only questions allowed are, what data do we actually have? And, just as importantly, what data are we missing? This forces everyone to start from the same shared reality. Okay, now we're going to pivot hard. From cool logic, we go straight to the heart with the red hat, the voice of our emotions and intuition. The power of the red hat is just incredible because it gives everyone permission to share their feelings and gut instincts without having to justify them. It creates a formal, safe way to say, you know what, I just have a really bad feeling about this, or my gut is screaming that this is the right move. It helps capture that vital human data that often drives our decisions anyway. Now for what might be one of the most valuable and often overused hats in the box, the black hat. Think of a judge's black robe. This is our logical devil's advocate. The black hat's entire job is to be cautious and find what's wrong, the potential risks, the flaws, the reasons an idea might fail. By dedicating a specific time for this, we make criticism a productive part of the process, instead of letting it shut down creativity from the very beginning. And of course, to balance out all that caution, we have the sunny, optimistic yellow hat. Think sunshine, right? The yellow hat deliberately forces the group to look for the good stuff, the benefits, the value, the opportunities. Now, this isn't about blind optimism. It's a disciplined, logical search for the upside. It answers the question, why will this work? And it keeps the team motivated by exploring the potential rewards. Okay, now for my personal favorite, the engine of innovation, the green hat. Think of fresh, green growth and new shoots. When the green hat is on, there are no bad ideas. Judgment is completely out the window. This is the time to brainstorm, to get a little wild, to explore alternatives you haven't considered, and to find creative solutions to the problems that the black hat pointed out. And finally, we have the hat that manages all the other hats. Meet the blue hat. Think of the cool blue sky that's above everything. The blue hat is the conductor of the whole orchestra. It doesn't play an instrument, it makes sure everyone is playing in tune and on time. The blue hat sets the agenda, decides which hat to use next, keeps the discussion focused, and summarizes what's been decided. It's the thinking about thinking hat. So we've walked through the framework. It sounds cool, right? But does it actually work in the real world? What's the payoff? Well, the results this simple tool can get are pretty staggering. I mean, check out this statistic. It's wild. A government program in the UK taught these exact thinking skills to a group of unemployed young people. The result? A 500% increase in their employment rate. 500! This isn't just about making meetings less painful. It's a skill that can fundamentally change outcomes. So here's the bottom line. The benefits are real, and you can feel them almost immediately. Arguments turn into exploration. Meetings that used to drag on for days can get done in a couple of hours. And because everyone is encouraged to contribute from every single perspective, you end up with decisions that are smarter, more creative, and way more solid. This framework gives you and your team a powerful shared language. It lets you say, hey guys, let's all put on our black hats for 5 minutes and poke holes in this, and nobody takes it personally. It's just part of the process. So, as you head into your next big discussion, ask yourself, which perspective do we need most right now? Which hat will you put on first?